Welcome to the Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Shildt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres Postgame Show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
First pitch, Tatis swings, sends it in the air, very high to left, very deep. Laureano is back. You got to be kidding me. A long home run. First pitch, first at bat, 2-0.
Fernando Tatis Jr. got the party started. A moonshot of a 2-run home run in the bottom half of the first inning, and the Padres go on to win Game 1 of the 2024 National League Wild Card Series. The final score here tonight, the Padres 4 and the Braves 0. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Welcome into our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network, our first postseason post-game show here in 2024. Fernando Tatis Jr. early in this game, second at bat for the Padres here tonight. He set the tone, the 2-run home run. What a moment for Fernando. 4 years to the day of Fernando's last postseason home run in 2020. But Fernando Tatis Jr. wasn't the biggest story here tonight. The story of this game was Michael King. Dominant. 7 shutout innings, 5 hits allowed. He struck out 12, walked nobody, and was remarkably efficient. 89 pitches for Michael King here tonight. When he was named the Game 1 starter, maybe a little bit of a surprise. You thought maybe it would be Dylan Cease. Who knew? Maybe even Joe Musgrove. But Michael King, like we talked about in the pregame, like we talked about on the station earlier in the day, if you heard me with Ben and Woods and Annie and Elston, he earned the right to start Game 1 with how he pitched in the regular season. And my goodness, did Michael King prove why he was this team's Game 1 starting pitcher tonight. He was brilliant. He was dominant. He was marvelous. Whatever word you want to use, that is how you start a postseason series and a postseason run. I caught up with Michael King on the field right after his brilliant effort.
Michael, 7 shutout innings, 12 strikeouts. What was the key to your dominance here tonight?
Higgy had a great game plan. Then it was just executing pitches. I felt like I had fastball command away, and then was able to expand off that, and Higgy called a great game.
Early on, you had some base runners, runner on second base in 3 out of the first 4 innings. How were you able to work out of those early jams?
Felt like it was soft contact that found holes, but we again had a great game plan. We knew where to go to soft contact. We knew where to go for swing and miss, and it was a fun one.
You mentioned Kyle Higashioka, a catcher that you've had a long-time relationship with. He hits a home run late. What was Higgy's impact on your start tonight?
I mean, we communicated the whole time in between innings. We had a great game plan before the game, and then in between innings adjusted with them. And then the Higgy bomb is always fun to see. So it was a great game for him all around.
The crowd was rocking from your very first pitch until you came off the mound in the 7th inning. What did it feel like to pitch here tonight in this kind of environment?
Had to turn up the pitch count, which is exactly what I wanted. I think that Toddy going in and setting the tone made it so it was a really fun night for them, for the fans that is, and then it just put the pressure on them. And so it was keeping on the attack and put up as many zeros as possible.
When you found out you were starting Game 1, is this the kind of outing you envisioned?
Would have liked a little less hits, but yeah, something like that.
Michael, congratulations on an awesome night. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was Michael King right after one of the better starts you will see in a postseason game. 7 scoreless innings, and he had some humor at the end, too. So, great stuff for Michael King. What a nice win for the Padres here tonight as they take a 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 series. And now the Padres have an opportunity to book their ticket to the NLDS with a win tomorrow or a win on Thursday. Of course, the NLDS would be against the LA Dodgers with that series starting Saturday in LA. But first things first, the Padres got an excellent, and I mean excellent, start from Michael King. Jason Adam, a scoreless 8th inning. Robert Swing Suarez, a scoreless ninth inning. There was also the Higashioka home run that came in the eighth inning, gave Robert Suarez a little bit of breathing room for the top of the ninth inning. You love to see that. And, hey, tonight was a lot about that battery between King and Higgy. Not only did Higgy hit the home run in the eighth inning, but he also drove in the third run of the night in the second with a sac fly. So the Padres didn't have a ton of offense tonight. The Tatis home run, the Higgy sac fly in the second, and then the home run in the eighth inning. That was it. But it was plenty here tonight. So great job by the Padres. Great job by Michael King. We've got fans here inside the loft finishing up their beers. Thank you for coming, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for following. I appreciate it very much. See, everybody's having a good time here tonight. We'll step aside. When we return, we'll get deeper into this game. We'll recap it from start to finish. We have all the radio highlights for you. We'll also hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up a little bit later. We should have additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. We've got a lot to do. We're just getting started. A postseason post-game show as the Padres take game one of this 2024 Wild Card Series. Final score, Padres 4 and the Braves nothing. We're back after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, the Padres 4 and the Braves nothing. As the Padres begin this postseason on a very high note, they take a 1-game-to-none lead in this best-of-3 NL Wild Card Series. 4 runs on just 5 hits tonight for the Padres, but with the way they pitched here tonight, that was plenty. No runs on 7 hits for Atlanta. The Braves did have a lot of scoring opportunities, especially early in this game. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But the Padres got terrific pitching from Michael King. 7 shutout innings. Jason Adam, a scoreless 8th inning. Robert Suarez, a scoreless 9th inning. We'll get into the highlights here in just a moment. But we heard from Michael King before our break. and he was simply outstanding. You cannot say enough about how dominant, how electric Michael King was here tonight. We have a lot to do. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We also have additional post-game reaction coming from inside the Padres clubhouse. Jason Adam. We'll hear from Jerks and Profar perhaps as well. So we have a lot of content coming up here in our post-game coverage. And don't worry, we'll get you involved a little bit later on the phones in our later segments as we wrap this one up. The Padres with a Game 1 win here at Petco Park. This place was absolutely rocking from well before the first pitch. Nearly 48,000 in the building here tonight. We had a really quick game. It was just over 2 hours, but this place savored every moment, from the pregame introductions to the first pitch and well beyond. Let's recap this one from start to finish.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
Let's begin with Michael King in the top of the first inning. He got in some trouble. Michael Harris II hit a leadoff single. King bounced back to strike out the next 2, but then Matt Olson singled. That sent Harris to third base. There were runners at the corners for Jorge Soler.
0-2, swing and a miss. Tony's got 2 more umpires for you when we come back. A scoreless top of the first for Michael King and 2 men left on base.
In the bottom half of the inning, the 21-year-old A.J. Smith-Shawver took the mound for Atlanta. He made just 1 start in the major leagues during the regular season. Luis Arraez started the Padres night with a leadoff single. Fernando Tatis Jr. was next.
First pitch, Tatis swings, sends it in the air, very high to left, very deep. Laureano is back. You got to be kidding me. A long home run. First pitch, first at bat, 2-0.
Fernando Tatis Jr., 4 years to the day of his last postseason home run. The first pitch he sees in his game here tonight, his first at bat here tonight, a 2-run shot. What a moment for Fernando. And when I tell you he absolutely hit it towards the sky, I'm not kidding. In fact, how about this? Even if you don't know anything about launch angle or you don't care, Fernando Tatis Jr.'s 39-degree launch angle on that home run was the highest ever in his career on any home run. So if you were thinking to yourself, if you were here, if you were watching on TV, it looked like a fly out, that's because the ball was so high you couldn't even see where it was. It landed in the second deck beyond left, a moonshot. 2-0 San Diego. Fernando setting the tone very early. King pitched a 1-2-3, top of the second. In the bottom half of the inning, the Padres rallied again. Jake Cronenworth was hit by a pitch to start the inning. Donovan Solano then singled. That got Jake to third base. Kyle Higashioka then hit a fly ball to center. It was plenty deep enough to score Cronenworth from third. Sac fly, RBI for Higgy. The Padres led 3-0. A.J. Smith-Shawver went just an inning and a third. Aaron Bummer replaced him. He got out of that second inning. The Braves continued to put runners on against King. He gave up 2 singles in the third, but he struck out Matt Olson to end the inning. Travis d'Arnaud hit a 2-out double in the fourth inning, but King struck out Gio Urshela to end the frame. King was through 4 scoreless innings, 7 strikeouts on 60 pitches. Bummer was doing a good job keeping the Braves' deficit at 3 runs. He got through 4 innings. King threw a 1-2-3 top of the 5th inning. Jesse Chavez came in for the Braves, and the bottom half did the same. Padres still led 3-0 going to the 6th inning. King struck out Marcelo Zuna to begin the top of the inning. Matt Olson flew out. Jorge Soler was next.
All in 2 strikes. King ready. The pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Another 1-2-3 inning for Michael King, and another couple of Ks. 10 strikeouts in 6 shutout innings, and after 5.5, it's the Padres 3 and the Braves nothing.
So the Padres had that 3-0 lead. King was really settling in. Chavez put together a 1-2-3 frame in the bottom half of the 6th inning. In the top of the 7th inning, King kept it rolling. He struck out Ramon Laureano for strikeout number 11. He struck out Travis d'Arnaud for number 12. Gio Urshela was next.
1-0. Urshela swings and skies it into right center. Merrill will call off Fernando. The center fielder makes the catch. A 1-2-3 7th inning for Michael King, who is shutting out the Atlanta Braves in Game 1 of this wild card series. Time to stretch at Petco Park. Padres 3 and the Braves nothing.
And as Michael King came off the mound in that top of the 7th inning, this place was on its feet, and rightfully so. 7 shutout innings for Michael King. No runs. He walked nobody. He struck out 12. A tremendous performance, and we'll put it in Padres history context a little bit later on. But it was one of the better postseason starts in Padres postseason history. I don't think there's any doubt about that right now. That's how good Michael King was here tonight. Dominant. 7 scoreless innings. Jason Adam came in, top of the 8th inning, still a 3-0 Padres lead. Adam would strike out 3 in a scoreless 8th inning. In the bottom half of the 8th inning, Padres had a 3-0 lead. It was Luke Jackson on the mound for Atlanta. Kyle Higashioka at the plate.
Here's the 1-2, and Higgy swings, sends it into the air, deep to left field. Laureano is back. He is at the wall. It's gonna go! A career-high 17 in the regular season for Kyle Higashioka. And the first Padre hit since the 2nd inning is an add-on homer here in the bottom of the 8th.
Kyle Higashioka, a big swing to left. It was 4-0 San Diego, and a good point by Jesse there. The offense from the 2nd until the 8th inning, well, they didn't do a whole lot, but again, the pitching made it so it really didn't matter here tonight. Robert Suarez came on for the top half of the 9th inning. Suarez allowed a single to start the inning. Then he got a force out at second base. And then ultimately, he would get out number 2. The last chance for the Braves in a 4-0 game was Travis d'Arnaud.
And they are 1 out away from starting the celebration. Here's a ground ball to third, backhanded by Machado. All the way on the outfield grass. Long throw to first in time. What a play by Manny to end the game. Michael King and the Padres shut out the Braves 4-0 in Game 1 of the Wild Card Series. They will go for the sweep here tomorrow night.
Terrific outing from Michael King. He sets the tone along with Fernando Tatis Jr. in that 2-run shot in the first. Padres never look back. They'll look to close things out tomorrow night.
A dominant all-around win against a team that came in tired. Padres did exactly what they needed to do.
What a win for the Padres here tonight. Michael King led the way. In fact, the battery led the way here tonight. Kyle Higashioka with a late home run. Also had the sac fly early to make it 3-0. And Michael King going 7 shutout innings in this win here tonight for the Padres. What a victory as the Padres take a 1-0 lead in this best of 3-game series. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Some very nice people coming to say hello here during the post-game show. All right, 4-0. The Padres win it against the Braves. We'll step aside. We have a lot to do on our post-game coverage. When we return, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll also get some additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse as the Padres win Game 1 of this 2024 NL Wild Card Series. We'll have a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. What else went on in the postseason today? We'll also get you involved via the phones later as well. Final here tonight in Game 1. Padres 4, Braves nothing. Our postgame coverage continues after these words. Postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Padres win it 4-0 here tonight in Game 1 of the 2024 Wild Card Series against the Atlanta Braves. Michael King, the big story here tonight, 7 brilliant innings, 5 hits allowed, no walks. He struck out 12. He was sensational tonight. Fernando Tatis Jr. set the tone early. The second batter of the game. First pitch he saw, a home run to left field into the second deck. An absolute skyscraper of a home run. Made it 2-0. And quite frankly, the Padres never looked back in this ball game. They got one more run in the second on Kyle Higashioka's sac fly. And then they would get one more run late in the 8th inning. It was a Higashioka solo home run to make it 4-0. Jason Adam, a scoreless 8th inning. Robert Suarez, a scoreless 9th inning. And the Padres shut out the Atlanta Braves. A combined 7-hitter here tonight. Atlanta had some hits in this game. The problem for them, again, was they went 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 on base, and like we alluded to during the postgame interview with Michael King, the Braves had opportunities early, 2 on in the first inning, 2 on in the third, runner on second base in the 4th inning, and they just could not find a way to cash in on any of those opportunities. And what that allowed King to do was to settle into a groove. In fact, if you look at this game, Michael King struck out Gio Urshela to end the 4th inning, strand the runner on second base. From that strikeout until the end of the 7th inning, King did not allow another base runner. He retired 10 in a row to end the game. From that, well, not to end the game, but to end his outing from that point on. So Michael King was able to battle through some trouble, battle through some hits early, give up 5 hits in the first 4 innings. And like I said, base traffic all over the place. And once he got through that 4th inning, he settled in a big way again. Finished his outing 10 in a row, retired. And by the way, very efficient, 89 pitches here tonight. So very efficient. He was just marvelous here tonight. Michael King picks up the postseason win. Very, very well deserved for Michael here tonight. A lot to chew on from this ball game. Let's go to the auditorium here at Petco Park, and here's some postgame reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Before the game, I mentioned it was eye-opening. Cease was going Game 3. I rescind that question. What did you think of King?
I think he was special tonight. I was talking to Darren on the way up here. First debut, I think I'm getting this right, first debut pitcher in a playoff game to throw 7 innings with no walks and no runs scored. Clearly a lot of strikeouts, 12 punch-outs. So thought he was fantastic. Everything was working. His misses were where he wanted them to be. I thought him and Iggy were on the same page. And, he was really good sinker. You could see a lot of movement. Changeup was filthy, and the sweeper slider was good as well. He really pitched exceptionally well.
Barry.
Hey, Mikey, any sort of thought about bringing him back out with 89 pitches, or was that just it?
That was it. He'd done his part. He'd gone over 100 a couple times. We have a good bullpen. He'd done his part. About to turn over the lineup for the 4th time. So his night was done and done in very, very impressive fashion.
Jeff, up here in the front.
What kind of tone did Tatis set there in that first inning?
Yeah, it was pretty special. Louis said it, right from the beginning, boom, laser to left, and Ty didn't waste any time. Got a pitch you can handle, put a big boy swing on it. So that was huge to get us up. And, nice to add on that second inning, too, with some good at-bats. And Solano good at-bat, and Higgy with a sac fly. And, of course, Higgy was damaged later. So, that was enough.
You were in the visiting dugout when Tatis hit his first postseason home run.
Really?
Might have been
Yeah, it was.
might have been a few dozen people in the stands. How did this compare, the way this place erupted?
Yeah, man, it's a good time to talk about the for our faithful, man. We knew they were going to show up. We knew they were going to get after it. But this was really, really electric night. Electric scene, really loud. This place gets so loud, and they're just into it. And it's as loud a stadium as we're going to play in, and it's good to have it on our side. Relative to the different homers, I mean, that was clearly a big homer in Game 2, 3-run homer. But this one was clearly in front of, a jam-packed house.
Up here in the front on the right side.
Any opinion or reaction about Kyle Higashioka giving this work with King, with the rest of the bullpen, and also giving another home run to take advantage?
Yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, he had the sac fly earlier. Again, him and Michael have worked well all year together. He's done a nice job acclimating to Adam in the bullpen, and I thought he did a nice job complete game for Higgy all the way around. And, nice job by Suarez, too. We may get to that, but I thought he threw the ball very, very well. Got a little soft single, but after that got a soft ground ball, and the ground ball that Manny makes a nice play to end it. So just good team, clean game.
Any last ones for Mike? We'll go back to Jeff here.
The at-bats after, I think it was Shawver left. I mean, what did you think of the approach but before Higgy's home run? Well,
they put together some innings where we couldn't, do anything consistently. Their bullpen did a nice job, and, Bummer got us on the ground a little bit, and we just weren't able to string anything together.
Did that ever feel like a team over there that had flown across the country and endured what they had the last 48 hours or so?
It didn't for me. They're professional, and they're a lot of good players, so we knew they were going to show up.
That was Mike Shildt after this 4-0 win for the Padres over the Braves in Game 1 of this National League Wild Card Series. Sam Levitt back with you inside the lofts here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up. And you heard Mike Shildt talk about the crowd there and Fernando setting the tone early with that home run. It was a sold-out crowd, 47,647 in the building here tonight. And I do think it's really important to talk about that home run. We've done a lot of talking about Michael King, and rightfully so. But you really felt like on a night where the Padres had an upper hand in a few different ways, if we're being honest about it. They first had the upper hand in the fact that they didn't have to be the team that traveled cross-country after playing a doubleheader, everything that we spoke about on Sunday as they went into the doubleheader, everything that's been spoken about the last 24 hours, what the Braves and the Mets, for that matter, but what they had to do getting here late last night and all of that. But the Padres also had a big advantage in this game from a pitching standpoint, just on paper. Now, in baseball, that does not mean a darn thing. We understand that. But here's the reality. The Padres had a guy in Michael King who they selected to pitch this game when they had other options. If they wanted to go with Cease or they wanted to go with Joe Musgrove, they selected Michael King, and he's been arguably their best, most consistent starting pitcher for months upon months now. On the other side, the Braves didn't have that. They were starting a guy in A.J. Smith-Shawver, which is a mouthful to say, A.J. Smith-Shawver, who made one start in the major leagues this year. Now, he's a very highly touted right-hander prospect, but that's really what he is right now, a prospect. They had to pitch Smith-Shawver, who made a start on May 23rd against the Cubs in Chicago. He had not been in the major league since. That was his lone start of the season in the big league. So think about that for a second. He now had to come into Petco Park in this raucous environment and face Arise and Tatis to start the game. And then Profar and Manny and Merrill and Bogarts after that. But think about the first two batters. Arise, single to start the game for the Padres lineup, and then Tatis on the very first pitch he sees in this postseason hit one a mile, a moonshot into the second deck and left, and boom, just like that, it was 2-0. To me, that was a big-time tone setter in this game. We talked about it earlier, the Padres taking a lead tonight, setting the tone against a starting pitcher that you felt like, based on the inexperience, based on the environment, based on the stage, hey, you've never seen him before, but go get him. And that's what they did. Now, did they do a whole lot after the second inning? No. And you would have loved to see some more offense from innings 3 through 7. That's, another conversation. But that sequence, Arise starting the game with a single and Tatis hitting the home run, it sure felt like a real way to set the tone in this game and potentially for this series. set up Michael King, gave King a lead, and he ran with it, got through the early trouble, and then settled in for a fantastic outing. Let's go downstairs inside the Padres clubhouse. We've mentioned Kyle Higashioka had a big impact on this game. Number one, he caught Michael King. Terrific. Those guys have worked together a long time, going back to the Yankees. We heard from Michael King pregame about his anticipation in working with Higgy here tonight. They've had a great relationship for a long time now. And also Higgy with the sac fly in the second, the home run in the eighth inning. He did a little bit of everything here tonight. Let's go downstairs inside the Padres clubhouse. Some post-game reaction from Kyle Higashioka.
And then to get the home run, what did it mean to you in front of this crowd and in an important game like this to contribute the way you did?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of love from the San Diego fans all year, so I'm incredibly appreciative of that, and just to, be able to contribute to a win in the playoffs and, kind of pay back some of that, love that's been shown to me. I think, makes me feel good. So, but I'm just glad, we came out, took care of business on game one, and looking forward to hopefully winning tomorrow.
What did you see from Michael King today?
He was incredible. I mean, the playoff atmosphere clearly, juiced him up and got the best out of him. So I was extremely happy with what I saw, and I'm sure he was extremely happy with himself. So to give us seven shutout in a environment like this is great.
How good was he in the moments when there was some traffic and trouble? He had strikeouts stand inning and threat after threat.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about him is no matter the situation, he keeps his cool, stays calm under pressure, and is able to still think clearly through things and execute his pitches. So that's a huge attribute to have, and that's why he got out of those games.
Did you notice anything different from him pregame or in the bullpen or in terms of adrenaline, nervousness?
His bullpen was really, really sharp, so that made me a little worried. Usually when his bullpen stinks, he has like the best games. But no, he was locked in. Clearly, it was. I think, he rose to the occasion.
That was Kyle Higashioka right after the game. 4-0 Padres beat the Atlanta Braves. How about that? Higgy saying that. So when King has a sharp bullpen, it makes him nervous. But, hey, King was sharp in the bullpen, and he was really sharp in this game. Now, like we said, and we'll talk more about Michael King's outing and put it in a little context as far as Padres history in our next segment. But it is worth just discussing the first four innings because, Michael gave up some hits. He gave up 5 hits in the first 4 innings. And while you sort of remember, and what you'll probably remember from this outing is when he settled in and retiring the 10 in a row from the end of the 4th inning through the end of the 7th inning, you could really argue that the most important part of this game for King tonight was the first 4 and battling through that trouble. So good stuff for Kyle Higashioka. Great night for him. I mean, the home run and to call the game he did alongside King tonight, big impact. I mean, we've talked about it before, and I don't know that, every Padres fan realizes how impactful Higgy has been on this team. He's a veteran catcher. He's a great clubhouse presence. He's a serious guy. He's quiet, but he's got a joking way about him, like you heard there in the post-game reaction. He's a big-time influence on that clubhouse. He really, really is. And, man, did he have a big impact on Game 1 tonight. How about this? Think about it this way. When the Padres made the Juan Soto trade, Michael King was the centerpiece of that deal. He was the guy that everybody thought, every evaluator thought, the Padres thought, had the stuff, had the makeup to be a great starting pitcher. And that was the plan for him when he got to San Diego, to turn him into a starting pitcher. And my goodness, were the Padres right? Was Michael King right about himself? I mean, you think about tonight in the context of that trade, it's pretty interesting to think about. I mean, think about tonight between not just Higgy, but also Michael King, or say it the other way around, not just Michael King, but Higgy, too, to have the impact he had here tonight. I mean, this was sort of like and Tatis was involved as well, but this was like the Juan Soto trade win in game one of a postseason. So very, very impressive. And, man, when you see Michael King do what he did tonight, it makes you not only appreciate the season he's had, but also, I think, dream a little bit about what Michael King can be moving forward next year in his career. To do what he did tonight in a first postseason start was just fantastic. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll talk even more about Michael King. We'll go back inside the Padres clubhouse. Here's some more post-game reaction. We appreciate everybody joining us, whether you're tuned in on 97.3 The Fan, whether you're tuned in on the Odyssey app or some other streaming service. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. I'm sure many of you are tuned in on the way home here tonight. We are your only local coverage. TV's done as far as post-game shows, so we're your only local coverage the rest of the way, and we will be here for you pregame and postgame after every Padres postseason game. Final score here tonight, Padres 4, Braves nothing. We'll come back. We'll talk more about this ball game, hear more post-game reaction. We'll get your phone calls in as well. 833-288-0973. Again, the phone number, 833-288-0973. If you want to chime in, would love to hear from you after this 4-0 win. Our post-game show continues after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. A shout-out to our studio coordinator tonight, Nick Danucci, who's back in our Kearney Mesa studios, and I will take everybody kind of behind the curtain here. The postseason, we have a lot going on. We've got highlights, we've got interviews, we've got press conferences, we've got your phone calls, and we've got Nick back in the studio, the maestro he is, doing it all. So a great job by Nick Danucci back in the studio. He's back there. I'm here at Petco Park as we continue our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network. Well, out of the bullpen here tonight, Jason Adam was once again really, really good in his Padres postseason debut. He would strike out 3 batters in the top of the 8th inning, gave up a base hit, but he did strike out 3, and he got through really like a good part of the Braves lineup. Orlando Arcia struck out. Michael Harris II struck out. Marcell Ozuna struck out. So it was not easy work for Adam. He did a great job. 3 strikeouts, a scoreless 8th inning. Let's go downstairs here at Petco Park and hear some post-game reaction from Jason Adam.
Yeah, an electric atmosphere. It's one unreal place to play. We got the best fans. They're all over it. Hard to describe it. An electric atmosphere tonight.
Taking them out there, like, obviously a key spot. Like, what was your kind of, obviously went the way you wanted it to go, but what was your kind of mindset following Michael King?
Man, did he look good. He set it all up. When a starting pitcher goes out and does that, it makes our job as relievers so much easier. They set the tone. No hitter was comfortable after facing him for the past 7 innings. So my job now is just go in there, throw strike 1, and go from there. He made it really simple.
What was your perspective on Tatis's blast into
Oh my gosh! That was an absolute bomb. It set the tone for the whole game. He got right after it. He was murdering balls all BP long. So translated to the game, he's a fun player to watch.
How important was it to get game 1 and just lock this one up?
Yeah, especially in a 3-game series. Obviously, game 1's very big. Still got work to do. Got to show up tomorrow, ready to play a game. Series is far from over, so we're gonna show up ready from pitch 1 tomorrow. But yeah, it's obviously very big for us to get that first game.
Striking out Harris, striking out Ozuna. Like, what was it like in front of this crowd, and what did you feel out there on the mound?
It was just electric's the only word I can think of to describe it. Those fans were on their feet, loud. You want to do well for them because they pay good money to come watch us, and they support us from day one. The crazy thing is they're almost that loud in the regular season. They're here every game. It's an awesome place to play.
Does it feel like any different today, or does it feel any different to you in the mound in the postseason? Or
there's certainly more adrenaline, but at the same time, you just keep reminding yourself it's the same game. Good pitches still get outs. So our job is to go out there and make good pitches. So it certainly is elevated because we all know what's on the line, but at the same time, it's the same game.
That was Jason Adam after the game inside the Padres clubhouse. Did a great job, struck out 3 in that 8th inning, and very complimentary of the crowd. I'm with him. Crowd was great here tonight from before the first pitch through the final out of this game. What a job by the Petco Park crowd, and what a job by Jason Adam here tonight in his Padres postseason debut. Let's tell you about tonight's player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
Our player of the game here tonight, take a guess. It is Michael King. What an outing. 7 scoreless innings, 5 hits given up. He walked nobody, struck out 12, 89 pitches. Think about that. 12 strikeouts in 7 innings on 89 pitches. He threw 60 through 4. And then in the 5th, 6th, and 7th, when he struck out 5, he only threw 39. So look, if it's a different situation, let's say this is a little bit deeper in the postseason. Let's say this is a 1-run game instead of a 4-run game at the time. Or at the time, it came out a 3-run game. Maybe Michael King goes even deeper in this game. He could have 89 pitches for King. So he was efficient, not just dominant, but efficient. And to give you an idea of where his performance stands tonight in Padres postseason history, Michael King became the 3rd pitcher in Padres franchise history to throw 7 or more scoreless innings in a postseason start. The other 3, Kevin Brown did it in 98 in Atlanta. Complete game, 9 innings. He threw 8 innings in Houston in 1998. And then Joe Musgrove, that wonderful start against the Mets, rubber match of that 3-game wild card series in New York, 7 scoreless innings. Michael King going 7 scoreless here tonight. So I don't think it is hyperbole to say that Michael King had one of the finest postseason starts in Padres history here tonight. I don't think that's overstating it. He was excellent, and I read the names. He becomes, again, just the 3rd pitcher in Padres franchise history and only the 4th time in Padres franchise history that a pitcher has thrown 7 or more scoreless innings. So he was just excellent here tonight. Let's go back inside the auditorium here at Petco Park. We heard my interview with King a little bit earlier. Let's go even more in depth and hear from tonight's star, Michael King.
Michael, just how did you feel tonight? I mean, you had a bunch of strikeouts. You were on today, and just what was the feeling going when you hit the mound?
Felt good. The sweeper felt good in the bullpen, so I wanted to use that a little bit more than I normally do. Fastball command was good, glove side, so I think it opened it up for some more chase over there. Higgy had a great game, calling pitches, and obviously the home run was huge. So just a good game to build off to start this season, or postseason.
When did you know? Is there a point where you guys know, oh, this I'm on tonight, or how does that kind of go for you guys?
I'd say the adrenaline kicks in as I'm walking in from the bullpen, and then you got to see how that first pitch is, So it took a little bit of time. I know I had 3 strikeouts in the first, so Higgy said we got to save some strikeouts. But then it was just staying on the attack and going after their aggressiveness.
Barry, and then to Jeff.
Hey, Mike, going back to the Yankees, how much of your relationship with Higgy over there started and then carried over here?
All of it. We played together in the minor leagues, and he's one of my favorite teammates I've had. He's awesome to work with as a pitcher-catcher relationship, and to see him hit bombs like that, I've been seeing it since 2018. So it's he's a special character that is needed in every locker room, and he's been a huge part for us this year.
Do you watch what the Yankees are doing? I mean, I'm sure you have plenty of friends still over there, and they're having a great year this year as opposed to last year. And you're kind of like bifurcated on both coasts there?
I still got a bunch of buddies over there, so I definitely pay attention to my buddies. I'll usually watch all my guys' outings, and then and we check in with each other, and they're having a great year, and I wish them all the best.
Jeff.
Was there a point where you kind of normalized the game? Like, it just, you settle into a groove and it became just like any other game this season?
Probably not, actually. I talked to Ruben before the game that I felt like I had success as a reliever because I wanted that big moment. I wanted to come in big situations. So I think feeling that pressure from the start of the game was something that I wanted to use to my advantage and build off of. So feeling the crowd noise, knowing how big postseason games are, it all played into my mentality throughout the whole game.
How did the volume go up when Tatis hit the home run?
Oh, I was saying, when I was sitting in the dugout with Higgy, I couldn't see Toddy, and I heard it, and because the crack of the bat was louder than the fans, you knew it was hit really hard. And then I looked up, and I thought it was going out of the stadium. The thing was mashed. So huge for me and my attack plan to have a 2-run lead right after the first inning, and also huge to get Toddy going because he's going to be a huge piece for us this postseason.
Did you notice the "Let's Go King" chant, or were you made aware of it as you finished the 7th inning?
I did not. Ruben told me about it after the 7th inning, so it was cool.
Marty in the back towards the middle.
Well, you spoke how excited you were to go ahead and pitch in a regular postseason game here at Petco Park from these fans. What was a like night for you from start to finish? Did it exceed your expectations? Is it what you expected?
Totally exceeded it. The towels were really fun. I even think the intros were something that I didn't realize was going to be so loud and so cool. Hearing them for literally everybody on our roster, including staff, go nuts every time they were announced. It was really, really special. Pitching in front of them is something that I absolutely love doing. I'm really happy we had home field for the wild card because I think it's a really tough place to play as an opponent.
And how much did that Tatis blast just give you take some pressure off your shoulders early on?
I forget what Higgy and I talked about. We were facing Laureano first in the top of the 2nd, and instead of the pitch that we wanted to go to, I said, let's just go backdoor sinker and stay on the attack. I didn't want to get too cute and throw off-speed pitches. So the fact that we were able to get a 2-run lead that quickly makes it so that I can really attack with my fastball and stay ahead of the counts and really put the pressure on.
Ended up here on the left side.
Mikey, after the 4th of the 7th innings, you allowed just the 1 base runner. Was that about the time you feel like kind of settled into your game plan?
Yeah. I felt like there was a couple soft contacts early. It's not like I was getting hit around in the first couple, so I felt like I was able to continue to keep the confidence. But the pitches that I was missing over the plate were hits in those first couple innings, and then I felt like I was really limiting the misses, whether it's pulls across the plate or just leaving them middle. So it allowed Higgy to really go to the game plan because I was able to execute it.
And then during the broadcast, they showed the quote that you had to the New York Post back when the trade happened that the Padres won. Is this proof of that?
I guess we'll see come Halloween.
And last one, Mike. We'll go back to Jeff here in the front. Go to the right side.
You got past 180 innings today. Anyone point that out to you, and how do you feel physically?
Felt great. I was joking. I think I hit a 97, and that's one of the hardest pitches I've thrown all year. Obviously, the adrenaline kicks in for that. But, yeah, my ultimate goal is getting 200 at the end of the postseason, so I think there's still a chance for that.
The right side on the
Mike, this side for the Spanish press, but I want to try to do this in English. You came to the first pitcher with 12 strikeouts in your first postseason career, no runs, no walkouts. When you knew that you were going to be open in this game, do you dream it like this?
It definitely was pretty close. I think I dreamed of a perfect game instead of a few hits that I gave up. But I mean, to get up 1-0 in a 3-game series is huge, and that was the goal, and we accomplished that. So we got our horse Joe tomorrow, and I got a lot of confidence in us tomorrow.
We'll finish up in the second row, in the middle.
What did it mean to have a performance like this in front of your parents? Your parents kept on being shown on the broadcast. Just what did that mean to have that in front of them?
I saw when I was watching in between innings on the iPad, it would cut from the stands into the pitch that I was going to watch. And Higgy knows my parents well, and Higgy was like, "Oh, there's Jim." So it was funny to see my parents' faces, but I'm also trying to lock in. So I'll enjoy it with them now. I hope that it doesn't distract me in the future.
All right, thanks, Michael. Congrats on the win. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
That was tonight's starting pitcher, Michael King. Great stuff there from King inside the interview room after Game 1 of the National League Wild Card Series here at Petco Park. The Padres win it 4-0. Sam Levitt back with you inside the Western Metal Building. Let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on the game?
That is swung on, line into left field, Profar charging, dives forward, and he makes the catch.
Let's take a listen to the catch of the game, presented by the Fish Market San Diego Bayfront. Before or after the game, enjoy their fresh catch of the day. Fresh local seafood is always on the hook at the Fish Market, located at 750 North Harbor Drive.
1-0, Urshela swings and skies it into right center. Merrill will call off Fernando. The center fielder makes the catch. A 1-2-3 7th inning for Michael King, who is shutting out the Atlanta Braves in Game 1 of this wild card series. Time to stretch at Petco Park. Padres 3 and the Braves nothing.
Our catch of the game, the final out of Michael King's outing. It was caught by Jackson Merrill in center. Can of corn out there for Jackson, but it did cap what was a 10-in-a-row span of retired batters for King here tonight. From the end of the 4th inning through the end of the 7th inning, it capped what was a brilliant performance for Michael King. We've talked so much about King already tonight, rightfully so. He was tremendous, and that is tonight's catch of the game. Phone number, as always, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you want to chime in, get involved. Let's lead things off tonight. We go to Manny calling in. Manny, you have the first word here on the Padres Radio Network on our postseason postgame show. Go ahead.
I'm just in love with these Padres right now. They're playing so good. Me and my daughter went to the Padre game today, and she was right there enjoying everyone's energy, and she just wanted to tell everybody how much she enjoys going over there to the game. And honestly, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, I agree with you, Manny, and appreciate the phone call. Look, I'm glad you and your daughter had such a good time at the game. It's what it's all about. It's what you play for. It's why you play the 162. Padres need 12 more wins to bring a World Series title to San Diego. There is a lot of work to be done, but to get off to the kind of start they got tonight, pitching-wise, bullpen-wise, offensively, look, could they have scored some more runs in this game? Sure. But I thought tonight went about as well as you could have hoped in a number of different respects. Let's go to Renee. Renee, you're on the Padres postgame show. Go ahead.
Hey, Sammy, good to be on with you tonight, man. Hey, yes, absolutely, that was an amazing pitching performance. But what I loved is when even he was giving respects, and even the coach mentioned, the manager mentioned Higashioka calling the game, man. See, those are the things that, doesn't get a lot of attention, but that's where it's won, in the trenches, right? He's calling the game. They're working together, and that is very, very impressive. And I will say this. I was not comfortable when there was, the fourth inning and there's a man on, and it was only 3 runs, and this is playoff baseball. I was not comfortable. People were laughing and having a good time. It might have been fun to be there and enjoying that, but I was stressing.
Yeah, Renee, look, Michael King, and like I said, really, and appreciate the phone call. Like I said, this was sort of an outing that you could split in 2 halves. The first 4 innings, he was dealing with a lot of base runners. I mean, he dealt with 2 runners on in the first, 2 runners on in the third, a runner on second and 2 outs in the 4th inning, and the Braves left on 5 through 4 innings. They didn't score. But then he settled in. I mean, something started to really click once he started getting through the lineup a 3rd time. And he retires 10 in a row again from the time he struck out Urshela to end the 4th inning through the end of his outing. And look, Renee, and I spoke about it earlier, you can't say enough about Higgy. What he did behind the plate tonight and at the plate with the stick. You can't say enough. And these 2 guys, King and Higashioka, you heard it in the post-game remarks from King. I mean, Higgy knows Michael's parents well. I mean, these guys go way back to working together with the Yankees. We heard it pregame. Higgy's impact on King, on this team, that is a really good combination. Michael King and Kyle Higashioka. They work really well together, and they did something pretty magical here tonight. Was Michael King perfect? No. He dealt with a lot of traffic early on. But game 1 of a playoff series, you go 7 shutout innings and you strike out 12, I don't care how much traffic you had, quite frankly. I mean, that's how good Michael King was here tonight. And Kyle Higashioka deserves, part of the credit here tonight, no doubt, for working with King, helping him call this game. No doubt about it. So it's a great partnership those guys have, and it was on a full display here tonight. Let's go to Owen calling in from San Diego. Owen, you're on the Padres postgame show. Go ahead. Owen, what you got?
Hey there. I just wanted to say that was an amazing game. The atmosphere was electric. I was there. But I'm still so confused on the Braves' choice of their starter. I know Chris Sale had his back spasm, and he was unavailable, but I was just thinking surely there are better options than a kid who just got called up.
Owen, Owen, they weren't in a great situation. I mean, look, you're right in this sense that, you look at Smith Shawver and the experience he has. Now, he's very highly touted, but he made 1 start in the major leagues this year, and appreciate the phone call, Owen. Made 1 start in the major leagues this year. It's who they had to go to. They had some other options. They could have used Bryce Elder, who has a little bit more experience. They could have used a veteran in Ian Anderson, who's been at AAA all year, but has a bevy of postseason experience and was actually really good for the Braves in 2021. They could have gone a different direction. They decided to go with Smith Shawver, and didn't work out great. He gave up 3 runs in less than 2 innings, but that was the situation they were in tonight, where without Sale, they needed to turn to somebody. The options were pretty limited, let's be honest. And look, it's part of the advantage the Padres had entering this series. The fact that the Diamondbacks had to play the doubleheader yesterday, the fact that Chris Sale, again, you don't wish injury on anybody, but he dealt with the back spasms, was totally left off the wild card roster. There were advantages, clear advantages for the Padres entering tonight and in this series. And they took full advantage tonight with getting out to an early lead and giving Michael King some breathing room, and he really did the rest. So They did the job here tonight, I thought. But look, bottom line, Owen, they didn't have a lot of options. Now, maybe if you're listening to the Braves post-game show tonight, maybe they were over there screaming about, should have been Bryce Elder, should have been Ian Anderson. Well, they went with the young right-hander, Smith-Shawver, and it didn't work out great. Let's squeeze in one more before we go to break, then we'll go to commercial. We'll come back with more of your calls. Let's go to Colt, calling in from Encinitas. Colt, you're on the Padres post-game show with Sam Levitt. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'm with my friend Guy, and this is my first Padres game. He's been to a few other ones, but
wow.
This is my first ever game. It was so fun, and yeah, I don't think it can get any better. What do you have to say? It was
So Colt, hold on, Colt, this was your first ever Padres game?
Yes, this is my first ever MLB game.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Colt, you picked a great game to go to. Well, how exciting was that? How much fun did you have tonight? How great was that?
It was so loud. I had so much fun.
Okay. Well, Colt and your friend, we appreciate you calling in. You picked a great game to go to. Doesn't get better than postseason baseball. So, Colt, appreciate it. And that was very, very nice. What a first game to go to. I mean, that's a ball game to go to. First game as a fan. Very, very nice. Okay, let's step aside. When we come back, we'll take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what went on around the other postseason series, the wild card series, earlier today. We'll have our play of the game. We'll get your phone calls in, 833-288-0973. Postgame show continues after this. Our postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight in Game 1 of this National League Wild Card Series. The Padres 4 and the Braves nothing. We still have a lot to do on our postgame coverage in this final segment. We will get some more of your phone calls coming up in just a bit at 833-288-0973. We've got a lot of people waiting on hold. If you're on hold, stay on hold. We will get to you in just a few minutes. We'll hear from Fernando Tatis Jr. in a moment as well. Here's some post-game reaction from Fernando. He had a 2-run home run earlier tonight in the first inning, and like I talked about earlier, it felt like that really set the tone in this game. Before we hear from Fernando, before we finish up with some of your phone calls, let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what went on today in the other wild card series.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at the other 3 wild card series. Let's begin in Houston. The Tigers got out to an early 3-0 lead, and it was Tarek Skubal and the Tigers bullpen that made it hold up. Skubal goes 6 scoreless innings. He will very, very likely win the American League Cy Young, and he was great in his first postseason start. 6 shutout innings. Tigers beat the Astros 3-1. The Astros had the tying runs in scoring position in the 9th inning, could not find a way to tie it. Royals beat the Orioles 1-0 in Baltimore. Bobby Witt Jr. had the lone RBI hit in that game. An RBI single gave Kansas City a 1-0 lead, and they hang on to win it 1-0 in Baltimore. So the Tigers take a 1-game-to-none lead. Royals take a 1-game-to-none lead in both those wild card series. The other National League wild card series, the Mets and the Brewers, that game was back and forth in the first few innings, but then the Mets had a big 5th inning. They scored 5 runs, and they go on to win it 8-4. Luis Severino went 6 innings, 3 earned runs given up on 8 hits. Milwaukee could not get within 4 once the Mets had that 5-run 5th inning. So the Mets win, the Royals win, the Tigers win. What do those teams have in common? All road teams. The only home team that won tonight was the team here in San Diego, the Padres. So 3 road wins, 1 home win, and now the Tigers will win away from moving on to the ALDS. The Royals will win away from moving on to the Division Series. The Mets will win away from moving on to the NLDS. And, of course, the Padres also a win away from moving on to the NLDS. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, what went on in the other wild card series earlier today. Fernando Tatis Jr., the early 2-run home run, his first postseason home run in 4 years to the day. What a moment. Very first pitch he saw in that first inning. A terrific moment for Fernando. Like we said, set the tone early. This place was going absolutely wild when he hit it into the second deck and left. Let's go inside the interview room here at Petco Park and hear from Fernando Tatis Jr.
Okay, we're going to do English questions first, and then once we're done, we'll pivot to Spanish. So we'll start down here on the left with Jeff.
Toddy, you hit your first playoff home run. There was nobody in the stands here in 2020. Can you compare that scene to what played out today?
Totally different. But, man, this crowd is unbelievable. I mentioned earlier, that's what I was waiting for, just the energy that people was going to bring. And San Diego definitely show up. And, man, it was just a feedback from the energy that they brought.
How did that make you feel, especially running out to right field, the way you've been doing all season, but in the playoffs?
It's very rewarding. It's one of the most beautiful sides of the game can bring to a baseball player. And, just making your crowd going crazy is what we dream of a kid, hitting a home run in a clutch spot and in a postseason, meaning something is definitely what you work for. And then, those are definitely memories you're going to take forever.
Go here in the middle in second row.
When you hit that home run, you kind of fell off balance a little bit, and then you kind of stared at it. Just were you surprised by how hard you hit it and how far it went?
I know it was gonna go out. I didn't know it was gonna land on the second deck just because how high it was. But yeah, slip a little bit on the plate. Just my back foot just came out, but I was fortunate enough to keep my back path where I wanted, and next thing we know, the ball was in the stands.
How exciting is it for you to be back in the playoffs?
And man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful energy. I love this type of situation. It definitely brings the best out of me, and just looking forward to way more experience like this.
What did you think about Michael King's performance tonight?
It was amazing. It was amazing. He definitely set the tone for us. He gave us the confidence that we needed as a group, as an offense. And just him going out there, showing the door for 7 innings, man, that's all you can ask for a starter. And just a great work from what he has been doing all year.
Scott.
All right, that was Fernando Tatis Jr. inside the interview room here at Petco Park, talking about Michael King there at the end. What a nice moment for Fernando. It's a great point. When he hit those home runs in 2020, there was nobody here. I mean, what a difference 4 years makes. And he hits one out tonight, 2-run shot to set the tone early. Michael King, the pitching, they did the rest here tonight. But that was a great moment for Fernando. And I think just in the bigger picture of this postseason, for him to do that early in this postseason, we know what Fernando's capable of when he's hot, when he gets it going, the way he's able to rise to the moment, rise to the occasion so often. You just feel like that's a big deal for him to have that kind of moment that early in the postseason. Big swing here tonight with the 2-run home run. We'll hear Jesse Agler's call of that home run before we go. First, let's get through a bunch of phone calls here. I do want to get you involved, 833-288-0973. Let's go to Brandon calling in. Brandon, you're on the Padres postgame show. Brandon, you there? All right, Brandon. Got to be ready. Let's go to Nick calling in. Nick, you're on the Padres postgame show. Go ahead. All right, Nick, you there? Nick, all right. We are 0 for 2 so far. Brandon, Nick, you got to stay ready when you're on hold, everybody. Let's go to well, I'm talking to Nick back in the studio now. Nick, tell me when you're ready, and I'll throw it to somebody else. Padres win it here 4-0. Let's go to Josh calling in. Josh, you're on the Padres postgame show.
Awesome. Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for accepting my call here, and stoked for the Padres. I did want to get your opinion on Robert Suarez. I love the guy, but man, I don't know about him as a closer there. He just doesn't have much swing and miss pitches. I think there's a place for him, but I'd much rather see Scott or Adam out there.
Okay.
Just kind of wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Josh, he hasn't got as much swing and miss in the second half, and he hasn't been as sharp in the second half of the season. Now, in the first half of the season, Josh, he was getting a lot of swing and miss. We saw him pitch differently towards the end of the regular season, relying more on his changeup. Look, he got an opportunity. He was going to get a save chance tonight. It ended up being a 4-run game, and Josh, appreciate the phone call. Gave up a base hit, but that was it. I mean, he was fine here tonight. Look, it's interesting to see that, okay, first traditional save opportunity of the postseason, and it was Robert Suarez. And here tonight, he only used the sinker and his four-seam fastball. We've seen him, use, the changeup a little bit more lately. He only threw 8 pitches in this game in that 9th inning. So tonight he was fine, Josh. Look, he's going to have to prove himself a little bit in the postseason. And just because Robert Suarez got the ball tonight in the 9th inning, look, we know that they view guys in this bullpen, the guys in the back end, a little bit like interchangeable parts with the strengths of Adam and the strengths of Scott and the strengths of Robert Suarez. So I don't know that it means that Robert's going to get every save chance in the postseason when he's available. But here tonight, it was him, and it didn't end up being a save because it was a 4-run game. But he was good here tonight. Gave up a hit, got through it. For tonight, I'm totally fine with Robert Suarez. Let's go to Eduardo in San Diego. Eduardo, you're on the Padres postgame show. Go ahead. Okay, no Eduardo. Let's go to Brock calling in. Brock, you're on the Padres postgame show.
Sammy!
Hey!
How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, couldn't be better. And I just want to say before I start, Scraby never picks up my calls, but I love you and Scraby.
Wow.
It's a beautiful combination.
Scraby ignores you? Wow. I'm going to have a word with Scraby tomorrow.
Good, you better, because Chris is gone. All right. I don't. You probably remember me sometimes, probably not. But I was the guy who called in a little bit ago when Suarez was struggling that said, "Hey, do you have a bad day at work?" Yeah, everybody does. And then everybody called in and shredded me to pieces. But
yes,
you know what? That's what he does. And I think, look at tonight. That's what he does. And everybody needs to show him a little more respect. He got us to this point. Everybody's going to struggle. Everybody's had a bad game. And, I mean, if we can keep this up, who knows what the limits are. Thank you, Sam.
Brock, look, with Suarez, and look, he had a ball to the warning track off the bat of Olsen. Okay, did give up a single. I get it, okay, if you want to look at a ball to the warning track and say, oh, look, he didn't have it again, I mean, that's up to you. Look, tonight he was fine. I don't know that he's going to get every save chance. He's certainly going to pitch in very high leverage situations. But tonight he was fine. He had a 4-run lead. He gave up a base hit, got through the inning. I'm not going to worry much about Suarez tonight. Look, he has a little something to prove in the playoffs because of how the second half went and how the last month and a half or so went. Tonight he was okay. So you take that and you keep it rolling, and we know that the Padres have some options. And it seemed like in the last couple of weeks, it seems like they're willing to view these guys, a little bit more like interchangeable parts. That's the word that Mike Shildt used. So we'll see. There may be a save chance, a late game situation in the 9th inning where it's Tanner Scott instead of Suarez. So we're going to see how the postseason plays out. Let's go to Alex calling in. Alex, you're on the Padres Radio Network.
Hey, Sam. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Hey, I just wanted to call in. I called in last week when I went up to Dodger Stadium, all excited. I'm really excited today to see, just the team have a complete, beautiful win. Tomorrow I'm heading up to the game, and I'm excited. And, Sam, you bring it, bro. You bring it. And I love the way you announce and speak, man. Today, I'm just so excited to see Michael King do what he does best, and to put it out on center stage in prime time was just a beautiful, wonderful thing, especially for San Diego as a whole city and county, and to be on that stage, man, just exciting. So everything went our way, and I hope tomorrow does too. And I just wanted to say that out live on the air, man. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate it very much, and we appreciate you tuning in. Look, you hit the nail on the head as far as Michael King. I mean, just tremendous here tonight. I've said it a million times on the post-game show. You can't overlook how awesome he was and what that means to get you off to that kind of start. I mean, again, that's what I loved about tonight. The start by Tatis and a rise to the base hit to begin the game. 2-0 in the blink of an eye. And then Michael King gets through some of the early base traffic, and he settles in and delivers a brilliant outing. To me, that's one heck of a way to begin a postseason run. All right, one final call here tonight. If we didn't get to you, I apologize. But we're going to squeeze in one more. Let's go to Ron calling in. Ron, you have the final word here tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah, who's starting tomorrow for the Padres?
Well, Ron, that's an excellent question. It's going to be Joe Musgrove. What do you think?
I think we'll get another win.
All right, Ron. I like the way you think. Ron, appreciate the phone call. I like Ron. Straight and to the point. Wants his information, gets his information, is positive, and that's it. We've talked about Fernando Tatis Jr. 4 years ago to the day, his last postseason home run. So wouldn't it be fitting, his first at-bat of this postseason, 4 years later to the day, he steps in, Luis Arraez on first base, a 0-0 game, and it was Fernando Tatis Jr. who provided tonight's play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
First pitch, Tatis swings, sends it in the air, very high to left, very deep. Laureano is back. You got to be kidding me. A long home run. First pitch, first at bat, 2-0.
Fernando Tatis Jr., the home run in the first inning, set the tone, made it 2-0. It was a skyscraper. I mean, he hit that ball so high, I lost it. I had no idea where it came down. It did come down on the second deck, and I said this earlier. If you felt like that home run was super high, let's say you were even watching on TV and you thought, that's a fly out to left, that's a pop-up. It really was that way because, as I said earlier, not that I'm a huge launch angle guy or I'm going to always get into launch angle, but in this case, I think it's important to note, Fernando's 39-degree launch angle on that home run was his highest ever on any home run, regular or postseason. So, yeah, it seemed really high in the air because he hit it a mile in the air and it came down in the second deck. Had he not hit it so high, it might have left the building. So, he still hit it 415. It was a blast from Fernando, and he knew it. Everybody in the park knew it. And that set the tone. Our play of the game, the Fernando Tatis Jr. first inning home run. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game show here on the Padres Radio Network, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game show there as well. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow, Game 2 of this National League Wild Card Series between the Padres and the Braves. Starting pitching matchup tomorrow, right-hander Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Padres, left-hander Max Fried on the mound for Atlanta. Good pitching matchup, same time, same place tomorrow, 5:38 p.m., first pitch here at Petco Park. We'll be on the air with our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show at 4:38. Remember, you can also tune in all day. This is the time of year where I'm sure everybody listening can't get enough Padres. We will be back with plenty of Padres talk on 97.3 The Fan, bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Ben, Woods, Paul, I am sure they will have plenty to say about this Game 1 win for the Padres. But again, Musgrove for the Padres, Fried for Atlanta. First pitch tomorrow at 5:38. Taking a look at the final totals in Game 1 for the Padres. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They left on 1. For the Braves, no runs, 7 hits, no errors. They left on 7. Winning pitcher, well-deserved W. Michael King improves to 1-0 this postseason. It was A.J. Smith-Shawver who took the loss for Atlanta. He drops to 0-1 in the post. Time of game, a quick one, 2 hours and 9 minutes, and a sold-out crowd here at Petco Park. Any surprise? This place is always sold out. 47,647, the attendance here tonight in downtown San Diego. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 5:38 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 4:38. Until then, for our great, and I mean great, studio coordinator Nick Danucci, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score in Game 1 of the National League Wild Card Series, the San Diego Padres 4 and the Atlanta Braves 0. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network.